Good morning and welcome back to Lovin Dubai show where we take you through the top trending stories of what is happening in and around the city. I'm Simran.
And I'm Shahir. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday.
Very happy Monday, and our stories today are an Emirates flight to New Zealand had a 13.5-hour round trip back to Dubai.
And a stray dog was left for dead in Fujairah after being shot 4 times.
We'll also be talking about Blackpink and how they had UAE fans running to the stage as soon as gates opened at Etihad Park.
And then we have filmmaker Christian come into the studio and tell us about his new short film all about Dubai premiering. Oh, well, it did 33 minutes ago.
Oh,
right?
Wow. So do stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for dropping in your comments on Instagram. People are watching from such different parts of the world. Ohio, we have Miami,
Honestly, Karachi, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for squeezing. Oh my god, thanks guys.
One quick traffic update that came in from Faizi. So there's slow traffic on Al Khail Road towards Sequim exit. So if you're planning to take that route and you haven't yet, you may want to consider taking some other going some other direction. Taking some other route. And Shahir,
what a nice public service.
I know. Thank you so much. And then Meg Sky High has joined us.
Meg Sky High, you're amazing.
Okay. So I asked you guys on Instagram, what is your love language before we started the show? And a lot of people are dropping in gifts. Now, Shahir, do you know what are the 5 love languages?
Yes, I have it right here in front of me. So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Okay. So what is your love language?
Can you only have one?
I guess you can have a couple.
Because I did a test before. I was dating someone before and I was forced to do the test. And mine came out as gifts. Which makes sense.
I am so surprised. Gifts?
As materialistic as it gets. Even in a relationship, I just want stuff. It's all take for me. But I think also physical touch and quality time. Acts of service I don't care for. Words of affirmation, nothing. You can't say anything to make me happy.
Okay.
What about you?
So you don't need that validate. No amount of validation is gonna.
No. The gifts will validate me. Words? Yours?
I think for me it is definitely acts of service. A definite one is acts of service, and then maybe words. No, I think acts of service. Quality time, I feel
she likes people doing stuff for her. This just goes to show we're vain people that want stuff done for us instead of us doing it ourselves.
No, not really. I think it's not like that. I think it's how you see someone value you. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I think that falls under words of affirmation
because
as
gifts,
well.
like you said, gifts is your love language, but it doesn't always have to be lavish or expensive. I don't know. Okay, fine. Let's not talk about you. Let's talk about generally. People love gifts, thoughtful stuff that, has meaning behind it.
No, don't get me a mug. Get me a Ferragamo belt for my birthday. Something along those lines,
I don't think I've met a more Dubai kid than you, and you're not even a Dubai kid.
Not really, no. Token? No, yeah, I don't want a mug. Don't get me a Rubik's Cube.
No keychain.
Not a keychain.
No photo.
I don't even have that many
a photo frame with your picture and her picture.
A picture of maybe just me is good, No, I don't want a picture frame. I don't like
gift cards?
Depends where. Yeah, gift cards work.
Gift cards work,
yeah.
Right? People actually say that they hate gift cards, but they don't realize how valuable they are. Like, you choose for yourself what you want.
Well, if it's like $10, what's that gonna get you?
Yeah,
almost
true.
nothing anywhere besides Starbucks.
It depends on the monetary value of that gift card too. Yeah.
But describe the acts of service that you...
Acts of service, like, you know, someone cooking dinner for me, or you know, it's like if I'm I don't know, if I just came from a trip and they know my timings and stuff, like pick me up from the airport. You know, those small things, like acts of service that really show that they're thinking about you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, because it really shows the effort, and it's like it really doesn't take anything much in terms of financially or anything else.
I get you. I'm still happy with the gifts.
You're still happy with the gifts.
The more the merrier.
But guys, let us know what your love language is. You know, over the weekend I was talking to a friend of mine, and she had no idea like what you know, that there are 5 love languages and how it works. And I feel like it's so important for people to know their partners or anyone's love language. Like, even for siblings, right? It's good to know.
That's actually true. I never even thought of it like that. That's so true. Even your parents, because like my parents don't like gifts.
Yeah.
You know, words of affirmation, I guess. But that's actually such a good cheat code to like get to know people and know how to like please them in a way and have them shut up and get out of your way and do what you want.
That is one way to look at it, for sure.
A very cynical way to look at it, but it works. Like,
it works.
I guess it can strengthen your relationship with people as well at the same time. Like, it shouldn't just be restricted to the relationship you're in.
Strengthen your relationship, and you know how to deal with that person as well.
Yeah.
You know, like specifically, like you know what, like after a fight, like if I fought with my sister, I know getting her a gift is not gonna work.
Yeah.
I know, like, I mean, just an example, I'm sure gifts on her really work. But for her, like, you know, I would just, you know, go and send her like a note of apology if words of affirmations are a thing. Like, you know, just really apologize and throw in a bunch of cute words, even though I don't mean it. Because I know that's gonna work on her.
That's smart, honestly.
Or like physical touch. I would go to my sister and be like,
whoop. Just like pet her head.
What's smack?
Not that.
That's called abuse.
Ali says that's called abuse.
Well, I mean, it came from Shahir.
It was a joke. It was a joke. But the takeaway from our morning chat today, guys. Use your words of affirmation to manipulate someone.
What?
In a good way. In a good way. Manipulate them emotionally.
Use your words of affirmation or your 5 love languages?
The love languages.
Yeah.
To use.
Stop giving them this advice. No, do not use the 5 love languages to manipulate someone.
No.
Use it to get to grow closer to them. To bond stronger relationships with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Manipulation can be taken in a positive light as well.
Let's change manipulation to another word. Negotiation.
Affection.
Affection.
Yeah.
To show your affection to someone, use the 5 love languages.
There we go.
How this conversation.
But I'm surprised at the amount of people that said gifts as well.
Gifts.
Everyone just wants something
quality time
in
and
life.
gifts. Yeah. I think it's such a Dubai thing. You know you're gonna get gifts as a response if you ask like anyone watching in Dubai.
Yep. Moving on to our first story.
Yes. So this is quite a story, I must say. Now, an Emirates flight had a 13.5-hour round trip back to Dubai. So let's get into that. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over our socials because it was live over the weekend, the story.
Yeah, it was intense.
And basically what happened there was on Friday, January 28th, an Emirates EK448 flying from Dubai to Auckland had to cancel its journey midway and head back to Dubai because of the widespread flooding from the torrential rains in Auckland, New Zealand. Now, the passengers are said to have spent approximately 13 hours on the flight to nowhere. The flight was an estimated 6.5 hours into the journey and flying over the Indian Ocean before being forced to reroute due to the dangerous situation in Auckland.
So keeping in mind passenger safety, Auckland Airport cancelled all international flights until Sunday afternoon. The torrential rainfall and flooding in New Zealand have resulted in the death of 4 people so far. The flash floods and landslides are being attributed as to the effects of climate change.
Yeah, and like if you guys just, you know, have seen the footage on our Instagram or socials, it's crazy. Like the flooding and the airport and all of New Zealand right now, like the evacuations that are taking place and homes that have had to be evacuated. Like, it's just a very heartbreaking sight to see.
100%.
And all of this are just like the results of global warming.
Yeah, like we've seen what's also been happening in Pakistan as well. Like the effects of climate change, we don't really like acknowledge how it impacts everything else.
Exactly.
And all the different countries. It's affecting airports as well now. So it's just like a message on like how we're treating the planet, what more we could be doing at the same time. But I'm just glad that they didn't go all the way to New Zealand to find that out, because obviously they have to like detour.
Yeah.
Like fuel.
Yeah, I'm just surprised how or why the flight wouldn't stop at any other airport close by. But then, of course, it's like a whole bunch of security checks and reasons and visas and all of that. They can't just like randomly stop at a different country.
Yeah.
But whatever it is great that the flight made it back safe.
100%. And they found out 6 hours in. It's super frustrating for the passengers, though. I bet. Like,
at the end of the day, it's all safety. Like, you know, okay, fine, you're spending 14 hours on the flight, and I know, like, it's the most exhausting thing. Like, even though you're just sitting there, but like 14 hours to be just in that same spot, and like, if you have to use the washroom or like the food or whatever it is, right? You just get
agitated and like, worked up. Like, of course, it's going to be frustrating for the passengers, but also the footage that is playing beside us right now of all the like the actual flooding and how high it's gone. Yeah. Insane.
I know. And it's just, but at the end of the day, it's great that the passengers were safe throughout. So that's big on Emirates for ensuring that, of course, as they always do. But we'll move on to our next story.
So a shocking piece of news was brought to light on Thursday, June 26th, of a stray dog that was left for dead after being shot 4 times. This was in Fujairah. So a witness recalls how the helpless dog was sleeping outside a shop when a car pulled up and the driver got out a shotgun, shot the stray dog in broad daylight, and then got back in his car and then drove off.
So the Fujairah-based animal shelter, Animals and Us, shared the account on their social media channels and expressed their utter outrage over the inhumane criminal offense. And upon getting the tip, a volunteer from the shelter, Michelle, rushed to rescue the dog and took him to a vet in Dubai.
So the shelter is actively investigating the matter to catch the perpetrator, and has added that this is what happens in the streets of the UAE. This is why we are constantly begging and operating above our means and capacity, which is obviously a strain for the shelter as well. Like,
exactly.
They are going above and beyond to do the absolute most to ensure that these situations don't happen.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that there are so many shelters in the UAE that are doing the absolute most to ensure that, like, yeah, it's stray dogs, but like, yeah, they're animals. You know, people just think stray dogs, they can fend for themselves, they can do all this, but they're animals at the end of the day. We live in a desert as well, so like, come summertime, it's extremely hot for them. It's already bad enough for these dogs being outside, and then like for Chance, the cute little pup, to get shot 4 times, like, for what reason?
Exactly. And like whatever you said, so on point. And we have these amazing shelters. We have the Rack Stray Dog Center, we have Animals and Us, we have Canine Friends, all of them working so diligently to make sure these animals are like looked after and provided for, like those abandoned, those injured, those hurt. And that too, like, when you hear stories like this of such horrible human abuse to these strays and like these helpless animals, like it just reminds you of like the kind of horrible people there are out there.
Yeah. And honestly, you wouldn't think that something like this would happen in the UAE, but like, it's a shame that it
does happen.
Yeah.
But of course, like, we know that authorities are on this. Like, they don't tolerate any abuse against animals here. And this man, like, if found, for sure will be severely punished. And we shared this on our socials, the story, and the comments are just so like supportive of Animals and Us, firstly. And secondly, it's like, you know, these shelters, they need so much help. Like, they need volunteering, they need support, they need all of that. So I would think, like, you know, if you are looking to help out in any way, any amount of a donation would make a difference. Even volunteering hours, like anything you can do, you know, even if you go and donate blankets and medicines or just like anything for these animals would make such a difference to these shelters.
And also, these shelters have days where you can just go and like go to the shelter, take these dogs out for a walk, and just like give them the love that they need. You know, a lot of people want to adopt dogs, but it's not feasible, whether time or resources or money.
You can always foster also.
Exactly, you can foster, you can take these dogs out for walks, and you can just go to shelters and give them the love that they need. And it's sad that a lot of these dogs go through so much trauma. One of my friends had a rescue, and the amount of trauma that it's been through just for it to get out and like have normal walks and stuff like that, it's sad to see.
It's so heartbreaking, and they're such loving animals.
Yeah.
You know, like cats, and like I remember once I saw a video of this cat meowing a lot outside someone's kitchen balcony, and like this person, he took hot oil and just threw it on the cat, and the cat was like screaming in pain. And it's like just the torture these animals endure.
Yeah.
Only because of human activity. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
That's very, very disturbing.
Like in a different country, someone tied up a dog to their car and dragged them across. Like it's just these horrendous stories you get to hear, and you're like, how are humans like sometimes so monstrous?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's scary.
But then of course,
I wish you didn't tell me those two stories. Like, it's kind of sad.
It's so sad.
It is sad.
Like honestly, I hate starting Monday morning off like this, but I mean that is the reality of how people are. But then, of course, like you have all kinds of people, right? Then you have these amazing humans that are there running these shelters and making sure these animals are looked after, and just they get the support and love that they deserve. But we'll jump into our next story now. Blackpink had UAE fans running to the stage as soon as gates opened at Etihad Park. Now, K-pop fandom is no surprise to any of us, and chances are if you've never gone through the K-pop fever, you would definitely know someone who has. And girl group Blackpink was in Abu Dhabi for their world tour, and the pre-concert videos that have circulated social media proves just how big and loyal the love is for the YG Entertainment formed in South Korea musical group. And as soon as Etihad's Park gates opened for their concert, fans literally flocked to the stage. And to that, surely Blackpink, their group members are thinking, how do you like that?
Good one!
Right?
So the Born Pig World Tour surely kicked off with epic proportions. Some lucky fans even came to see the group members. They got them while they were doing their sound rehearsals and sound checks, so that was lucky on them. So a bit more information on the group. Blackpink is a South Korean girl group and consists of 4 members. Jennie Kim, Lalisa, Jisoo, and Rose. They're iconic.
Iconic. Yes, we're just watching their videos right before we started the show, and oh my gosh, the swag.
Yeah.
The swag that these girls exude is something else.
And I've seen a YSL campaign that they've done ages ago. That's the first time I was introduced to them, and they did such a good job with the campaign, but that's just a side note.
I think everything, they just kill it. And honestly, like I've seen their interviews, like I was so obsessed with Blackpink last year. Like I had this full phase of like hardcore obsession.
Like a lunchbox.
No.
Water bottle.
No, not that far. But
what's
like,
on your desk?
But yeah, I was on like, you know, just like watching their interviews and watching their Netflix documentary. They're just like I mean, the amount of hard work you put in to be on that stage, to, you know, put those choreographies together and the music and the outfits, it's just incredible.
100%. Like they kill it. So I've only really just seen their music videos, 30 minutes ago. And I'm like, oh my God, they actually do such a great job with like the singing, the skills, the dancing, all of that put together.
Yeah.
And even in this office, as soon as they found out that that Blackpink were going to come to the UAE to perform, people went insane.
Oh my god.
They were like jumping for these tickets. And like understandably why? Because like they're killer.
Oh, I know. I tried to get those tickets, but they were literally like within, I think, 10 minutes of the announcement being made that Blackpink is coming. We had we had a few tickets, and they were just like dibs, and the tickets were gone. But also the band debuted on Square One back in 2016 under YG Entertainment, which is responsible for other well-known South Korean artists. So that is a little background info on Blackpink, in case you didn't know, but there is no one who doesn't know Blackpink, so maybe it was not even needed.
Yeah, not really. But in case you're wondering,
in case you're wondering. But before we jump into our interview with Christian Gamachi, do you want to do your famous segment?
Oh my god, she puts me under pressure every time. Meg Sky High says, "You like it like that." Song is agreed.
Like it like that.
It's stuck in my head and it will be for the rest of the day. But let's get into
I think
it.
we've converted you.
Yeah,
This
into
one.
a
Blackpink.
yeah, sure. I'll take it.
Yeah,
Blackpinker.
Blackpinker. Okay, let's give a shout out to Jemmy.
Good morning, Jemmy. Thank you so much for watching and happy Monday to you. Take the day ahead and make it the best day possible.
Wow. Okay, let's give one to Rufus.
Good morning, Rufus. Is this the Rufus that you met yesterday?
Yeah.
Rufus, thanks for being such a trooper and watching us every single day. Without you, we wouldn't know where we'd be.
Okay, let's give one to the Mask Man 90.
Good morning to the Mask Man 90. Who is the man behind the mask? Let us know. We want to get to know you. The same way you get to know us on the show every single day.
I think it's a bot. Okay,
Okay.
let's say hi to Waleed.
To who, sorry?
Huh? Waleed.
Good morning, Woody. Thank you so much for watching. Hope your day is as amazing as it can be.
Can we get one for Hamza?
Good morning, Hamza. Thank you so much for watching.
Can we get one for Oliver?
Hey, Oliver. How's it going?
Can we get one for Imran?
Good morning, Amran. Thank you for watching.
Can we get one for Mayar?
Mayar, this is your morning affirmation of the day. You are strong, you are worthy, and you're the best version of yourself. Go forth and conquer today.
Wow, I think we got to end it with that one. That was so good.
All right, guys, we're gonna go on a short break, and then we have Christian Gamachi who's gonna join us on the show, telling us about his new film, all about Dubai. So stay tuned.
Hey guys, welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. And Dubai is no doubt one of the world's most beautiful. And our guest today proved just that with the latest installation of his Where Is This film series, showcasing the beauty of the city through his very own lens. Welcome to the show, Christian Gamachi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
Thank you for having
here.
me. Thank you.
Of course, the pleasure is all ours. Also, before we dive into the film, can you tell us more about you and what you do?
Yeah, of course. But first, to go back to what you were saying earlier.
Yes, what are your love languages?
So words of affirmation and touch, I think, not gifts. I
love
mean,
a
they're
good
always
gift.
welcome,
Right? When are they not?
Elaborate. You mean, okay, fine, your love language are like words of affirmation and
what they say?
physical touch?
And physical touch.
Okay, so
So
elaborate.
and love language for me is, you know, among friends, family, etc. It's always when you touch somebody, it just, you know. And I'm Mediterranean. We're tactile. This is, you know. And so sometimes you have to be careful because with the people I care about, I'm a hugger. So yeah. So
are you a
touch,
hugger?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We all are. You know, like Kourtney Kardashian said that 15 seconds of hugging a person a day is all a person needs.
I
and
think
it
so
changes
too.
your outlook.
I think so too. You know, and I'm really about energy, and I think you convey energy through a hug. If you have a good energy, that's what you'll convey to the other person. You know?
Oh, that's amazing. So like a good handshake, a good hug.
Oh yeah.
Like some just
Good to meet you.
And the eye contact, can I have one please?
Likewise.
You know what I think physical touch, did you mention that was one of your love languages? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
and
hug a
words
lot.
of affirmation, I think everybody, you know, well, obviously not everybody, but people who respond to words of affirmation are people who, from my own experience anyway, very often I have the feeling that people think that you know you're great, or you're doing great at what you're doing, or you're feeling great, but maybe you're not. And just sending you a few words of affirmation, just, you know, from people you care about, obviously, it just makes you feel better.
Yes,
you know?
100%. Everyone needs the validation from time to time, and just the little push to keep going, like you said.
Yeah, the gifts validate me. To be honest. I'm good.
I actually brought you gifts.
What?
Yeah,
Stop.
they're outside. I didn't even know that
you.
but they're not just for you. They're just for Lovin Dubai in general.
Is it food?
No.
It works.
I'll have everyone list out their love languages, and if gifts isn't one of them, they don't deserve it.
Send me a list.
They can get a hug. I'll tell them they look good today. You know, we can edit.
I'll send you presents every day until you're like, okay, Christian, it's getting weird.
No, I'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I'll tell you about me.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the more important. So I'm passionate about creating. I've been passionate about creating for more than 30 years. Well, actually 30 years, which tells you my age. But initially, I discovered photography as a passion when I was a teenager. I was studying law. I was also a lawyer for a very long time. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a passion that grew. And at first, it was a passion for photography. You know. And at some point, I was. I'm going to try and make it relatively short. At some point, I was living in South Africa, and I was practicing law, but I was at a place where I just didn't want to anymore. It's not what I wanted. I felt that I was wasting my time, and I worked for a very big company, and things weren't going well, and I thought this was the right time, so I quit. And it's a bit like the monk who sold his Ferrari. I sold everything, and I bought a motorbike, and I thought, okay, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about Africa. I'm passionate about photography, about traveling, about abandoned places. So why don't I cross Africa on a motorbike on a quest for abandoned places and take photos? And that's what I did.
All your favorite things.
Exactly. So I prepared it. And initially it was a photography journey, and it was called Two Wheels Across Africa. And I have a very good friend, Sean. If you're watching, hi. His name is
Sean.
Sean.
In South Africa, and Sean said. He said, dude, I don't understand. You're traveling across Africa. You have a camera. It was a Canon 5D at the time, Mark III or something. It shoots video. Why are you not going to take this opportunity? And so I said, I don't like video. He says, have you tried? I said, no. So eventually, as soon as I started the trip, I started actually filming, and I fell in love with it. The way I put it is, photography is a frame, filming is 25 frames per second. But as long as you have the eye, it's the same thing. And a lot of my work, you'll see in the film, for example, that you'll see today, Adventures of Aya, it really for me, every frame matters, and the light, the way you capture the light, and the way you try to capture the emotion is the most important thing for me, right?
Yeah.
So this is how the journey happened. Now, fast forward to a few years ago. I have a daughter. Her name is Aya, and when she was 8 years old, and she was living in Australia at the time, so we didn't see each other much. And just before COVID, so she was 8 years old, she came to visit. And I had missed her birthday, and I felt very bad about it. So I said, I'm going to make it up to you, and I'm going to take you to Iceland. So we went, just her and I, to Iceland, and we rented a motorhome, and we spent 6-7 days in Iceland, just her and me. And obviously, because I'm passionate about filmmaking, there's no way you can't film in Iceland. So I filmed it. And when I went back home, and I went back to Australia, in my free time, I just started editing it into a film. And I called it The Adventures of Aya in Iceland. And it was just a passion project. Nobody commissioned me to do it. And then I submitted it to international travel film festivals. And boom, it was selected 10, 12 times. It was finalist, I don't know how many times. It won 4 international awards. I'm like, oh, we're on to something.
Yeah.
So 6 months later, and it's very funny because in the film, I interview Aya. So I just put the microphone and we talk. And there's a part you see in the film, at the end of the film, where I say, what are your favorite animals? And she says there'll be a cat and a dog. And then she goes, a giraffe, a rhino, a hippo, an elephant. And I go, well, maybe next time we'll go to Africa then. And she goes, yeah. So 6 months later, I take her to Africa and we go to Kenya. And same thing, we go for 5-6 days and I make a film called The Adventures of Aya in Kenya. Boom, same thing. It wins 5 international travel film awards.
What do you think it is about these very candid films that you make with your daughter that, resonates with the audience? Yeah.
I think it's the fact that, first of all, it's a very original concept, right? So it goes a bit to what I want to talk about and the company that we established called Where Is This? It goes to organic content. It goes to relatable content. It goes to, it's not a scripted experience where you bring a cast and you tell them walk from here to here and you have super professional cameras and everything. It's really relatable content. And when it comes to a child going through this experience, it speaks to a lot of people because a lot of people either are young or have been children or have children, and it's a much more innocent way of discovering a place. Yeah. I think that's what it is. And you go to footage of Iceland, you'll see men and women. You'll never see a child. You go to footage of Kenya, same thing. There's a scene in Adventures of Aya in Kenya where she walks into this Maasai village, and you have all these Maasai villagers wearing the traditional clothing, and you have the eldest, I think, of the village, who puts her hand on Aya as Aya comes, and she goes Supa, which means welcome, and it's in the film, and it's just so emotional, and it's organic. It's nothing that we could have scripted. And so fast forward, Aya came last year to Dubai. And I said, we need to do Dubai. we need to film you in Dubai and to the adventures of Aya in Dubai. And so we approached Dubai Tourism, and they were wonderful. They supported us with, locations and drone footage because, I fly drones all over, but in Dubai, as you know, it's very tricky. So they provided us with all this. They were very supportive.
Or did they provide the drone footage, or did they give you the permit to fly the drones?
No, they provided the drone footage.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So they have beautiful drones. I always obviously prefer to film my own, but I happen to really like the drone footage that they had. They actually were filmed by a friend of mine who was very talented. So wonderful. Hi, Bashir.
Hi,
shout out Bashir.
We filmed it. We filmed for 25 days. We went all around Dubai. And the main point that Dubai Tourism raised at the time, which I thought was very valid, and you see it clearly through the campaigns and everything, is we don't want to show downtown Dubai anymore. We really want to push people to discover Dubai, the outdoors, the nature, hatta, and all this. So that's what we focused on a lot. And that's why the film, when you see it, you've seen it, but when you see it, it starts in the desert and it goes to hatta and all of this. And she slowly, gradually goes to the center. And so we did this film. And fast forward again, the film took a while to film, and it also took a while to edit because I really wanted it to be perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be another level than the level of the first two, which are already amazing. But and also because then this is where we decided to establish Where Is This. And so Where Is This is our company. It's a company that. Am I going too fast or am I
No,
talking
go
too
for it.
much?
I just want to say
Go on.
quickly that at the end of this year, after the interview, you will be able to see the film. The film is very, very beautiful. I got my own sneak peek preview and I was obsessed. I was telling you. And then I watched it 2 prior as well, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the passion behind it.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, not at all. This is not a monologue. But I talk a lot.
No, but it's really interesting that you went into this. What I understand is that you're the coolest dad ever. But besides that, you went into it with a passion project and people resonated with something that you made out of sheer love, basically.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that Aya was your daughter as well. So to see that through a child's fresh eyes as well, I think that's the most mesmerizing part.
Yeah, thank you. It's been an amazing and obviously a great opportunity for us to bond, especially because we don't, we live in separate countries. She's now moved to Doha, so she's closer. Yeah, sorry. So that's where I decided that, this is what I love. This is what I want to do. And the name Where Is This comes from a simple idea, which is that when you're on your Instagram and you're scrolling, there's a lot of travel content. There's so much travel content with little information that you spend a lot of your time saying, where is this? Like, it's beautiful. Where is this? Where is this? So we decided to set up this company that's a content company purely dedicated to travel, tourism, hospitality, and leisure. And to create content that would really be in the same feel of the films that I do. It's not going to be me. We are building a community of content creators. We really want to empower and leverage content creators from the region.
Yeah.
So from Dubai, from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, there's incredible talent. And as a filmmaker and a content creator, I've noticed that there's still very often this complex of, if we don't hire an international director or an international DOP,
it's no good.
It's no good. And that's wrong. There's incredibly talented people. So we're building this amazing community. Like even yesterday, I couldn't sleep probably because of the things so I'm taking from my ear anyway. But I get a message from this creator in Saudi Arabia. He's brilliant, and he shows me his work. And I said, do you want to join our community? He said, yes. I said, done. Send me your content. We'll post it.
Wow.
So it's gonna grow. And the feeling is, I don't know if you've seen the platform. We launched it 2 weeks ago. The whole concept of this platform is to create content that is for the platforms. Of course, as a company, we will make 4-minute, 5-minute films, but to create short form vertical content that is by definition snackable, but that is high quality. So my motto nowadays is like, who says snackable content can't be gourmet?
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of beautiful. You like it? So because you see a lot of beautiful content on social media, but you also see a lot of things that are not well edited. It's just, and you get lost. So that's it in a nutshell. And the biggest idea also is that a lot of people and a lot of companies that create snackable content don't have either the ambition or the capacity to create long form.
Yeah.
We come about it the other way around. There's a very famous expression in French that says "Qui peut le plus, peut le moins," which means who can do more can do less. So you can very well, and Adventures of Aya is the typical example. We made a whole film. But for the past 2 weeks, we've been slicing it and dicing it into vertical reels that people really responded to.
Yeah. No, so what's your hope?
Sorry, I talked too much.
What's your hope out of the short film? What's the takeaway that you want people to have? So
obviously, the first hope out of the short film is to showcase Dubai.
Okay.
And not to take away from anything that that other content creators are doing about Dubai, which is amazing. It's very different. It's very diversified. It's what Dubai tourism is doing is incredible as well. But I think this adds yet another layer. I haven't seen anything, of one child going through that is an organic content that is. So I think the first goal is this, obviously. The selfish goal from a company point of view is obviously to promote what we can do, and to grow our social platforms, which will, gives us more credibility, exposure, etc. So it helps us to grow as a company, But it also started for us at least, it started something where people are really responding to the content, and it's really about, again, about creating a movement, creating a community, and this takes me to something else. I really believe that we live in a unique moment in time in the region between the UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, and Saudi Arabia, Qatar. People are falling in love with this area even more than they did before. They're discovering so many things about this area. And so I think we come at the right time where we can be a part of showing this area to people, be it domestically or internationally. So for us, this is the first step. It's the first show of what we can do for the region.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this and mastering the skill for so many years now. So do you ever feel like, like you're just out of the creative juices and like your content, like you just don't know how else to shoot it, or how, do you feel like it's getting monotonous now, or no? How do you keep it different?
I don't. I hope people don't. But I don't. And I always, in the first book I published, I talk about my relationship with photography, but my relationship with filming is the same. I really feel whenever I grab a camera, I come alive. And although places can be the same sometimes, or people can be the same, it's never the same. There's always new ideas. And also because it's organic, you really don't have to think about what you're going to create first. So the way we typically operate if we work with a client is say, give us a hit list. Tell us what you need to see and leave the rest to us, right? So no, I haven't felt that. I hope people don't feel that. But the second part is, again, whereas this is not going to grow because of my films. That's not the point. I'm running this company. I'll do films because I'm passionate about it. But it really is about what the community of content creators is going to do, that we are going to curate and we're going to manage and we're going to. But so you're suddenly tapping into the creative mind of thousands of people. So how can it get boring or Me, I personally, no. Yeah. There's always new things to learn and new things to try and new things to.
Can we go back to when you were telling us that you're working in the law field and then you quit?
Yeah.
So you're in this stable job, big bucks, like you're living large, enjoying every moment, but realistically you weren't as happy as you thought you would be.
Yeah.
Tell us or walk us through the moment you said, okay, this is it. I'm going to take the risk and I'm done.
Two things. First of all, it wasn't it wasn't in one phase. When I said I'm going to do Africa on a motorbike, I wasn't like I'm done with law forever.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to take this year instead of flying, because I knew that my next phase, even as a lawyer, was Dubai. I'm half French and half Lebanese. I speak the languages. I know the country and the area very well. I worked in the region very well in Kuwait and Bahrain as a lawyer. So like my next step is Dubai. But why not, instead of flying to Dubai, why not ship everything and ride to Dubai?
Yeah.
And by the time I get there, I'll see. So I gave myself a year, right? And by the time I got here, I was like, this is what I want. You're right, it is a scary thing. But at the same time, I've had this conversation with a number of people, and I feel very fortunate to have a passion other than what was my day job. And I've had, before I did quit, I had some really good friend who said, why are you still practicing law? Why aren't you doing this? And I'd say, why are you still practicing? And they would say, because I don't have something to fall back on. I don't have a passion. You cannot fail if you do this. There's no way you're going to fail. You're too talented. I'm just saying what they said. So
they're not wrong.
Thank you. So I've always had this feeling that, it's going to work. You might not live comfortably for a year or two or three or whatever, but why does that matter? At the end of the day, what matters is that you do what you love, and that's really important. To me, that's really important.
Well said.
Yeah.
But before we end the show, I want to ask you, do tell us a little bit about your giveaway. What's happening?
Yes, so it was, and by the way, you can still participate. We announced the winners on the 3rd of February. So what happened is that for 2 weeks, we had this giveaway campaign. And what we did is we released every day 1 or 2 reels and stories on our social media platforms. I don't know if you're going to put the link.
Yeah.
Well, it's Where Is This official. So And we simply said, the usual tag 2 friends that you would like to take with you, share this profile, and tell us where is this that you see in that film. And if you're right, for that specific post, you get a draw ticket, right? And every time you answer on a different post, you get an additional draw ticket. And people really responded. And so the giveaway, so then we went back to all the places that we filmed with Aya. So Aya went on a balloon adventure. We talked to them in the desert with Platinum Heritage. We talked to them. She went to Hatta. We spoke with Hatta, the lodges and everything, to Green Planet, to the Safari Park. Wow. She went to all these places, and everybody responded immediately, really positively. Thank you very much, everyone. And they said, yes, love it. We told them, this is the campaign. For 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to do this. Then we're going to launch the film. Obviously, you're in the film. We don't want anything from you. Just, give these people something. Yeah. And they all responded. So, like, the first prize is a balloon adventure for 2 people that starts with breakfast and coffee, and then the balloon adventure, and then breakfast. And then you have, like, the desert experience in those vintage classic cars with Platinum Heritage, where people go and they will, they'll enjoy the desert, maybe a camel ride. There's a falcon show at sunset. There's a camp with a show at night and everything. Then there's in Hatta, there's vouchers for the Hatta activities, but also vouchers. So there's one prize where it's 2 nights in the Hatta resorts with all the activities, and there's one prize with 1 night. So there's all these. And so, and then we'll pick, we'll put all the people who responded and the draw tickets together, and I'm jealous of the people who
I'm thinking that, I'm like, what way can I rig this?
Oh my God.
Gifts.
Right? Like, that's how you get me. Yeah. But honestly, there's a lot for people to just absorb from the giveaways as well, but also the film itself. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm sorry for taking up all the
I think you've answered all the points. So that's great. But guys, don't stop watching, because we will stream the video right after this.
All right. Thank you.
Just as you exit the city, you get the wild mountains, and it's a completely different thing. It's just
Do you remember when you ran to the camera?
Yes, yeah, at the start of the thing, and you're like, wait, run. Okay, right, wait, run. Wait, run.
Again.
And I'm like, I'm looking at the camera, I'm like, I'm sorry.